Bless you.
Y'all ready?
Yep.
Staff ready? Right. I'm going to go ahead and call to order the City Council meeting for January 13th, 2026. Let's all rise for the invocation and pledge of allegiance led by Councilmember Kent McKinney.
Heavenly Father, I want to thank you once again, as always, for all the many countless blessings that we have in our city, state, and our country. We are especially grateful to you for your help in providing resources, people, and the planning and the work that's going forward.
February 16th. So just giving you a little bit of an overview. I won't be going into these numbers every single time, but I find them interesting and helpful to understand what the public is interested in and what is driving their interest and attention. And one of the reasons the Rainbow Trout Restock event was so high in interest was because that's one that we were tagging with the Texas Wildlife Department. And so when you're tagging with another organization, you get a lot more coverage. 39,000 people viewed our river trail reopening, and along with the proclamations, those were probably our top interest items for the season. I also know that 160,000 views for another post about the river trail happened, I believe, on Kerrville Breaking News. So overall, month to month, you do see fluctuation. Total views for the city, there was 300,000. And for Parks and Rec, we had 220,000. Police, 1.2 million, because everyone is interested in what's happening for the police department. At the same time, we're seeing a precipitous drop in followers because you see rise and decline of interest in cities because of events that have taken place recently. Notable coverage, I did want to point out that we've had about 25 media inquiries since we last spoke, and we've had many different topics covered, including the Olympic pool renovations, reopening the river trail, got a lot of coverage, elections and campaign packets are getting covered, and then the park board updates for the bridge replacement. There's a lot going on. While we did this, we also wanted to talk a little bit about routines. You've now started seeing our media weekly roundups that we've been sharing with you. And we've also been able to cut our press releases down to 4 while maintaining and streamlining production more efficiently for our public. We continue to do media alerts for our public, like traffic roadblocks and everything as needed. And I did want to let everyone know that we have every intention of getting back on the schedule for monthly reports and quarterly reporting. With my onboarding, it just got a little delayed, so we appreciate your patience. Moving forward, stealing, I guess, a little bit of Jay's thunder here, but Guadalupe Park Community Survey results. They had a lot of participation. 375 responses came in, mostly from the Kerrville and Ingram area codes, but we also had some surrounding zip codes as well. The households typically had about 50% with children and 11% reported accessibility needs. Basketball courts received second highest interest behind the sensory inclusivity playgrounds, and will continue to meet the public's interests in honoring the centrality of our community's commune with the river as we continue to restore and heal. So just moving forward to highlight some upcoming events and look forward to the rest of January. Make sure you're getting your tickets for the Someone Special dance. And tomorrow, you can also join us for the rainbow trout restocking at Louise Hayes Park for any anglers out there. I know it was already happening today, but I could not get away without mentioning the National Rubber Duck Day and scavenger hunt that took place at Butt Holdsworth Memorial Library just a couple of hours ago. And of course, I want to remind everyone that city offices will be closed for Martin Luther King Day. Thank y'all. Have a good one.
Thank you. All right, we have some presentations. Chief?
Mayor and council, tonight I have the honor to recognize the Kerrville Fire Department for earning the Department of State Health Services Rural Health Care Award. The award honors an EMS agency, healthcare facility, or individual who's made a significant contribution to improving emergency medical care in the rural setting. As the fire chief, I'm proud of their accomplishments and milestones that set them apart from other agencies. This is more than the response to the Guadalupe flood, and instead focus on delivering progressive patient care and taking care of our community. In March 2023, the Whole Blood Program was created and coordinated with promoting 3 EMS supervisors to provide ability to transport blood to the scene. We've administered 25 units of blood since inception and host the only mobile blood donation in Texas here in Kerrville. In October 2024, a new EMS staffing model was implemented to allow EMT Basics to staff 4896 shift work. This model provides a means to recruit and hire personnel that are dedicated to EMS and want to pursue a career as a paramedic. The model also created an EMS lieutenant rank and administration to provide a separate EMS career path than the traditional firefighter path. In December 2024, the new standard operating guidelines was rolled out under the medical direction of Dr. Stephen Harper. These standard operating guidelines advance pre-hospital care to include 2 antibiotics, ketamine, prednisone, TXA, droperidol, dexamethasone, rocuronium, acetaminophen, ibuprofen, and bicarb. An advanced training and credentialing process was also added for EMT Basics so they could start IVs and IOs in the field. The transition to the new COGS will improve patient care by providing progressive patient management practices en route to definitive care. More technology was also included in pre-hospital care, from controlled substance tracking software to ensure compliance, pediatric medication administration app, expanding the use of Pulsera for reunification, and continuing our Texas wristband initiative. We provide community programs for Stop the Bleed for all our independent school districts, to include Schreiner University, city staff, and county staff. We provide just-in-time CPR and AED training for city staff and county staff. We support our community by handing out food at the Light on the Hill Mega Food Drive, picking up trash for the city's Adopt a Highway, Save Kids hot car displays, File of Life blood drives, and numerous other community events to stay engaged with our citizens. The Guadalupe flood was a devastating disaster for our community and for our fire department. EMS personnel were there providing compassionate care for those I passionately call Mrs. Jones, from the first call on the 4th to the late night interfacility transfer to San Antonio. They continue to provide exceptional care while carrying the mental stress of the disaster. Our medical director, Dr. Harper, was exceptional in his compassion and willingness to stay engaged with the crews. He visited the stations just to talk, visited the Emergency Operations Center, worked in the mobile medic unit, provided additional medical directors to support the incident, and even put on his work boots to search for the missing alongside our KFD and KPD personnel. Most importantly, the men and women of Kerrville Fire Department always provide exceptional care with empathy for Mrs. Jones, no matter the emergency. It is the compassionate patient care that makes us proud to serve our community, friends, and family. We have the privilege to be there for someone during their worst times and make a difference, forever changing their path to recovery. Congratulations to the men and women of the Kerrville Fire Department for earning the Department of State Health Services Rural Health Care Award. Mr. Mayor?
Yeah, sure.
Leonard, you want a picture?
Don't mind. Get one more. I lied. Thank you.
Well, thank y'all. So,
Thank you.
Thank
One
you.
more picture. We're good. Thank you, guys and lady. Thank you for all you do, and please shake the hand of a council member on your way. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks for all you did and all you do.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here tonight, too.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate everything. you do.
Well done, yeah.
Thank you. Maybe I'll see you at a meeting.
Maybe I'll see
Again,
you.
a round of applause for them.
Well done, thank you. Well done, thank you, thank you.
The next item is,
The proclamation, yeah.
we have a proclamation about the river trail. So anybody from the Parks Department, please join me up front. Good. Thank you. Thank you. So what we have is a program to help encourage people to get back out on the trail. And I want to say thank you to both of you for everything your department did to get the trail back open. It's wonderful, and people have thanked me over and over again. In fact, I saw Jack Peterson out there the other morning. Let's read the proclamation. Whereas the Guadalupe River and River Trail are central to Kerrville's identity, quality of life, and economic vitality. And whereas the July 4th flood profoundly impacted our community, altering landscapes and lives while demonstrating the resilience and compassion of Kerrville's residents. And whereas the removal of 1.7 million cubic yards of debris was removed from public right-of-ways, waterways, bridges, and residential properties. And whereas the reopening of the majority of the Kerrville River Trail marks a significant milestone in the city's recovery and restoration efforts. And whereas Kerrville's 27 parks and outdoor spaces serve as vital community and economic infrastructure supporting health, tourism, and local businesses. Now therefore, I, Joe Herring Jr., Mayor of the City of Kerrville, do hereby proclaim January 13th through February 14th, 2026 as Kerrville Strong, Back to the River Month, and encourage residents and visitors to safely enjoy the river trail, support our parks and recreation areas, and celebrate the resilience and spirit of our community. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Hold this. Duck down a little. No.
Three's always a charm.
So this is a small part of a marketing campaign from what I understand. And if you take a picture of yourself on the trail,
Or at the tennis courts, or at the...
or any of the
Any
park systems,
park,
and
yeah.
you put a hashtag on it, you're eligible for a prize. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And more details will be coming, correct?
Yes. More details are on the screen. Kerrville River Trail. Just take a picture of yourself using Kerrville's amenities, parks, and recreation areas, and you'll be entered to win. Either send it to media@Kerrville media@kerrvilletx.gov or post yourself on social media.
Thank you. All right, you want to say a word?
Just happy it's open. Lots of hard work. Got good crews to work hard, and it was a team effort. It wasn't just parks, it was streets, it was all the public works folks. Again, this has been a wonderful team to be a part of, so I just want to spread the thanks around to everybody.
Ditto what Jay said. He summed it up.
Good. Well, thank you for being here, and thank you for your hard work, and thank you for keeping our parks open. We are now to Visitors and Citizens Forum. Do we have any signed up?
Yes, sir, we have two. Mario Obledo.
Mr. Blair, either come to this microphone, or if you need a podium, you can use the podium.
Yeah, well, thank you. Good evening, Mayor, City Council, City Manager, City staff. For the record, my name is Mario Blado Jr. I'm Chief of Government and Public Affairs at the San Antonio Food Bank. And with me this evening is Stanley Sorrell, who helps me out in the government relations shop, and he handles public policy and advocacy. We're working in the space of city, county, state, and federal with our elected officials. And let me just say, on behalf of Eric Cooper, our president and CEO, our board, our organization, thank you for the leadership that you provide to this great community and the citizens that live here in Kerrville. I'm stopping by this evening to say a few words about the food bank. So if you think of a bank, money's deposited in, then dispensed out. At the food bank, same concept. Money, food, resources deposited in by large grocery retailers like H-E-B, food manufacturers, processors, wholesalers, resellers, farmers and ranchers, and the community at large, all depositing in. Then that product, that inventory is dispensed out to great 501c3 partners, hundreds within the 29 counties that we cover in Southwest Texas. And here in your great community, Light on the Hill, it was mentioned earlier, Beth Palmer, John McCullough at St. Vincent de Paul, and there's plenty others that help us nourish their clients, our clients, one and the same. And so, you know, we're part of Feeding America, 200 food banks strong across the country. That's the country's safety net. And in our great state, we're one of 20. Feeding Texas is our state association. So all 254 counties are covered by a food bank service territory, and we do cover 29 counties. We're down in Karnes City, we're down in Crystal City, we're in New Braunfels, we're up in San Angelo, and everywhere in between. A lot of area to cover, a lot of need. We're serving over 100,000 individuals in any given week, and we couldn't do that without great support from government. So USDA, TDA, HHSC, et cetera, all helping us with food and nutrition programs and policy and support and funding. And then we're able to work that strength and strengthen the country's safety net and the community safety net to help families that might be food insecure and go without food. So we're helping them set that table. We're fighting hunger and feeding hope. And so the reason I wanted to stop by today is we're working that daily disaster of poverty, but do know we are part of the national, local, and state EOC strategy. So food banks are. We get mobilized in the case of a natural disaster, hurricane, fire, and unfortunately, flood. We have responded to places like Sutherland Springs in our service territory, Uvalde, so man-made disasters, right? Hurricane Harvey, Winter Storm Uri, government shutdowns, you name it, we've been mobilized. And we're just humbled and privileged to be able to tell you that, God forbid, you know, something happens again, you call or text us, and we're going to mobilize like we did. We were here before the flood, during the flood, we're here after the flood. And so we're your food bank, and we wanted you to know that. TDM, the governor's office, FEMA, you know, Red Cross, Salvation Army up here, just great partners to work with, and we're at your disposal. So we wanted you to know that, and thank you for everything y'all do to help support the citizens here, again, in Kerrville. So.
Thank you for all you do for our citizens. Thank you very, very much.
Thank
I
you.
told Mr. Blader on my way to work, sometimes I see that the cars are ready for pickup out on Light on the Hill. And every time I see them, I'm very grateful for your help here. So thank
Beth
you
Palmer's
for
an
that.
angel, and there's many angels like that across Southwest Texas, across the state, and across the country that are helping us. Times are interesting and tough for a lot of folks, and again, we can't do it alone. So volunteers, organizations coming to help us, and so that's how we get it done.
Well, thank you so much for doing everything.
Thank you so
We
much.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Glenn Andrew?
Andrew.
Don't panic, there's a lot of pages with this big writing so I can read without my glasses. My name is Glenn Andrew. Good evening, Council and Mayor. My name is Glenn Andrew, and I reside at 3553 LaCumbrie. Thank you for allowing me to address this council. In order to follow your procedures, I will speak to the council. My words are truly offered to a long-term city employee who has resigned and is moving to another city to continue his career. Mike Hayes has been our exceptional city attorney for almost 25 years, 20 of which I have personally observed. Mike's city governance legal skills are unparalleled in accuracy and professionalism. I've had the opportunity to sit on boards and councils, each with a sitting legal advisor as we have here, and I am confident when I say there has never been another city attorney who offers as succinct, accurate, and timely legal advice as Mike Hayes. Mike's exit will leave enormously large shoes to be filled. It was my honor to serve on the council while Mike was the city attorney. Mike was always thorough, accurate, and timely. Mike always stood on his principles despite pressures to take a differing view. He was always the consummate professional, even when was publicly attacked. Unquestioned integrity, steadfastness, positivity, joy, dedication, absolutely ethical, and on are all appropriate monikers for Mike Hayes. Mike has the ability to assist the board and council in making proper legal decisions, but also to warn when they're nearing the edges of legal or ethical decisions and boundaries. That ability, coupled with a personality to accomplish that and not anger a city council, is rare indeed. Our city of Kerrville has Mike's fingerprints on every good accomplishment in the last 25 years. His legacy is secure, and for that, we are thankful. But our city's losing a lot more than an excellent employee. With Mike and Melissa Hayes moving away, we're losing two exceptional community leaders. Their gifts of knowledge, helping hands, and smiles are everywhere in Kerrville. They lead through being principled, Christ-centered individuals. Want to know what a principled life with a servant's heart looks like? Don't look any further than going to Mike and Melissa Hayes. Mike and Melissa, kids, families, friends, church members, strangers, people in need, and the entire Kerrville community are so much better because y'all came our way. Thanks, and a million times more thanks. Y'all done really good. Thank you.
Thank you, Glenn. All right, anybody else?
Nope, that's it.
All right, let's move on to the consent agenda. The consent agenda is considered routine, and any member of the council can remove an item, as can staff or a member of the public. Any council member wish to remove an item? Staff? Public? All right, then I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move to approve items 4A, 4B, 4C, and 4D of the consent agenda.
Motion been made and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, so vote. It passes unanimously. Moving on to 5A. This is an ordinance. Shelley, would you please read this in?
Yes, sir. Ordinance number 2026-01, an ordinance amending Chapter 60 of the Code of Ordinances, City of Kerrville, Texas zoning code by changing the zoning of a property known as 2905 Memorial Boulevard from a light commercial zoning district C2 to a general commercial zoning district C3 and providing other matters relating to the subject. There are no citizen speakers signed up. However, this is a public hearing.
Mr. Paxton.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This is a request at 2905 Memorial Boulevard to go from C2 to C3. This is a former Wagon Master property, if you're familiar with that. It has been vacant for some time. We've had several requests for different uses. It did not fit in C2, so the owner ultimately decided to request C3. Here's the current zoning at C2 with many of the properties around it. Excuse me. It is in the future land use plan as community commercial, which C3 does fit within, so it is consistent with the comprehensive plan. And here's the land use table highlighting the differences between C2 and C3 with the additional uses that would be allowed. Due to the proximity of the river and the floodplain, some of these uses would be prohibited through the supplementary requirements, but the base zoning would allow them. And in December, the Planning and Zoning Commission recommended approval with unanimous vote. I'd be pleased to answer any questions.
Any questions for Mr. Paxton? All right, is there any comment or discussion or a motion?
Make a motion that we approve the zoning change, ordinance number 2026-01 on first reading.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion?
Sir, we have to have an open.
Oh, you're correct. It's a public hearing. I almost made it too. Before we go to a vote, we need to have a public hearing. And I will open that public hearing now. You don't need to have signed up to speak. You're free to speak. And I'll close the public hearing at 6:28. Oh, so close to it. Never made it through a council meeting without making procedural errors. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, so vote. And it passes 5-0. All right, thank you. The next item is 6A. Would you please read that to the record?
Yes, sir. Ordinance number 2026-02, an ordinance deleting Article 6, solicitations of Chapter 30, Business of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Kerrville, Texas, containing a cumulative clause containing a savings and severability clause, and providing other matters relating to the subject. And there are no citizen speakers signed up.
Thank you. Mr. Hayes.
Mayor and council, this is in some ways a pretty simple ordinance. It's just going to delete Article 6, solicitations of Chapter 30 of our Code of Ordinances. This, you all may remember, and it's certainly borne out in the recitals to that original ordinance, that this ordinance and this article was intended to protect homeowners and the public against criminal activity, including fraud and burglary, minimize unwelcome disturbances to citizens and disruptions of their privacy, and otherwise establish regulations to preserve the public health, safety, and welfare by regulating and licensing in appropriate places, we thought, peddlers, solicitors, and canvassers. We had, we were challenged on this and had a favorable ruling from district court. It was appealed to the Federal Court of Appeals in New Orleans, and we did not have a favorable ruling there. But all is not lost because the federal court, appellate court, remanded it down to the district court. But we think the writing is on the wall. We can improve the ordinance, particularly with respect to some of the definitions, and bring it back. And I'll read to you one sentence that I really kind of captured me in the opinion. It said, the court cited that cities have a significant interest in protecting the well-being, tranquility, and privacy of the home.
Mm-hmm.
So with that in mind, and with all haste, we will bring back an ordinance that we think will pass constitutional muster and do what I believe our citizens want us to do. I know that anytime I talk to anyone about this ordinance, and frankly the challenge, people were either surprised or dismayed that we were being challenged on this because, for example, they really believe that they ought to have no disturbance in their home, at least between the hours of 8 p.m. and 8 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
So, all that being said, we'll have a second reading at the next meeting, and as quickly as we can, we'll bring back another ordinance that's been vetted that will, have certainly, we'll pull some of the opinion out so that we are ready and prepared to adopt an ordinance that we think will pass legal muster.
Thanks for your work on that.
Any questions or comments from Mr. Hayes?
Thank you, Mike.
Right, is there a motion then on this ordinance?
I would move that, to approve ordinance number 2026-02, first reading.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, so vote, and it passes unanimously. 6B, Ms. Behrens.
Hi, good evening. So in front of you today is a budget amendment proposed for fiscal year '26 budget. This budget amendment is only relating to property tax, as we discussed in very grave detail over the course of our budget workshops and especially through post-flood. So I just want to walk you through it really quickly. So as you know, the '26 budget was adopted using the emergency tax rate. At the time, there were a lot of unknowns given we received certified roll 21 days after the flood. And so property tax revenues were budgeted very conservatively based on potential property losses that were provided to us by KRCAD. So our losses came back substantially less than that. But there was really no way for us to know or have a way to accurately estimate that at that time. KRCAD has updated our rolls and provided that to us in a supplement. We've confirmed total levy with the tax assessor collector just to tie everything out. Worst case scenario, they provided about 65 million in loss, and so we're looking at probably about 3 million. So quite a bit of estimate, but I mean a difference. But given what we knew at the time, that's the way we budgeted. Believe it or not, that differential doesn't add that much difference if you calculate that on our rate. Property tax revenues obviously have been updated based on this new roll. Collection rates for the remainder of January are going to provide a much more clear picture, as January is going to be our heaviest month, but tracking on what we've received so far and then also compared to the levy and readjusting the updated estimate revenue, we feel pretty confident. So this budget amendment proposes increasing property tax revenue by $600,000 over what our current budget is, increasing the transfer out to CIP and restricting those excess funds for disaster-related expenses within general fund assets. It's really too early for us to fully allocate these funds, but we did want to provide you with some samples or some estimations of the way that we might allocate the $600,000. The unknowns are obviously FEMA reimbursement, and we're still working through those processes, although some projects have been allocated, so we can see some of those, so I put the knowns on here. We don't know actual costs on all disaster-related projects. However, we know it will be far in excess of this $600,000. And then we don't really know of other funding opportunities that we continue to work on to try to cover some of those expenses. So funds are proposed to be earmarked specifically for repair and replacement of general fund assets, as this is property tax. So preliminary allocation, and I provided this to you, I believe, but I want to be said publicly, this is not an inclusive list of projects. So while we did do the best we could on allocation of that $600,000, there are many more projects related. So you can see the ones that have an allocation amount that doesn't say TBD or estimated, those are actual numbers, and that is we're allocating what we hope to be the 25% match for reimbursement for FEMA, and that's estimated right now based on what's been obligated from them. So, of course, the big question mark is going to be Louise Hayes Park. That's going to be a huge undertaking that you've seen some of the potential scope and those kind of things, so more to come as we progress. So we basically allocated what we knew to be true and then put the rest to Louise Hayes Park area. So requested council action on this is to approve this ordinance on first reading, and of course, we will continue to bring you updates on property tax as we continue collections over the next month. We're about 54% collected right now, so everything is tracking with the estimations that we've updated.
Any questions or comments for Ms. Behrens?
I have a couple, and I heard you say something about the funds are restricted and they have to be used for the repairs.
That was council's direction whenever the emergency tax rate was brought back. When we brought the original two property tax rates to you with the proposed budget, that there was an understanding that what we collected over what we budgeted, based on the difference between the 3.5% and the 8%, would be earmarked specifically so that that cash would go toward flood-related expenses.
Okay, so my question then is, let's say we get enough money from grants or whatever to cover a lot of those repairs, and we don't wind up using that entire $600,000. I know that we had to do some shifting in order to balance our budget, and part of that shift included either no money in the asset replacement fund or limited money in the asset replacement fund, and I'm wondering if we can't shift that back into that fund if,
Yeah, I mean, then that
Can we
would be
do that or
council
not?
direct, yeah, that would be council direction, so at any time, but I will say, my first concern, of course, is cash flow, because we have to cash fund all of these projects.
Yeah.
My professional opinion is that 600,000 isn't gonna touch it, even funding the 25% match of some of these larger projects. Now, if we somehow stumble on enough money that we could redo all of Louise Hayes Park, then the potential is after we were to fund these things and be reimbursed by FEMA, then, we could move that to another CIP project. You could choose to move it to asset replacement or anything that council was to choose to do with that. So we can certainly change this, or if you want to say, right now, we don't really want to do this, then
Yeah, I
you
mean,
could do it. But cash is
obviously-
our first priority right now.
yeah, obviously the directive for this fund needs to go towards repair, replacement, that sort of thing. But if by chance we happen to have the opportunity to receive more grant money or whatever, and we do wind up with a little bit of a fund balance in there, if we could direct it back to the funds that are,
As it comes
Stretched
along,
thin
we'll see how
right
it's
now.
going, and
yeah, and asset replacement's a big one.
Yeah, and we'll provide you regular updates as far as what our expenditures are relating to flood expenses. And now that some of those projects are actually moving, we'll be able to provide you better updates. And then when we get hard estimates, then, we'll keep you updated monthly in our financial reports so we can track that. But
Okay.
noted, and if we find that that is a need, then we can certainly bring this conversation back and say, this is all in, all done, and this is where we are, and would you like to redirect those funds? We can
Fair
certainly do
enough.
that.
Thank you, Julie.
Of course.
Is this the emergency tax increase that was voted on
Yes.
back in
Yes.
October? So it's not a new
No.
tax increase for anybody?
No, this is
No.
just a
I wanted
revenue.
that to be clear to everybody,
sir.
because you say raising taxes.
Yes, sir.
It
No, that's just the
raises-
differential between what we originally estimated we would collect. If you remember, we said we're only gonna, I think we said about 400,000, that was our estimate, and that was based on what Kirkad's estimated losses were at the time, plus a reduced collection rate, so, and again, that number could change a little bit, but I really won't know until we get further into February, when I can say with some confidence that we have collected as much current property tax as we're going to collect.
Kent?
No.
Anything? All right, is there a motion?
Before you make a motion, sir, can I read the ordinance caption into record?
why not?
I think that's appropriate.
Didn't she do that already?
I think that's appropriate. Please, proceed.
Ordinance number 2026-03, an ordinance amending the city's fiscal year 2026 budget to account for changes in property values following July 4th, 2025 flood event. There are no citizen speakers signed up.
How about that? I have 2 years' previous experience on top of all this, too.
Oh, don't worry about
Are
it.
you ready for a motion?
I'm ready for a motion now.
Okay, I move to approve ordinance 2026-03 on first reading.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, so vote. I want to say thank you to the Finance Department and to City Management for making sure these funds were used to repair flood damage. I think I'm on safe ground to move on to item 7A. Ms. Hagemeyer.
Hello, Mayor, Council. I'm coming to you with resolution number 01-2026. The Community Arts Program through the CVB has identified a National Endowment for the Arts grant in partnership with the U.S. Departments of Defense and Veterans Affairs to use funds to support the health, well-being, and quality of life of military service members, veterans, and their families and caregivers. CAP is asking to use the city as a pass-through for these funds by applying for this grant. There is a one-to-one cost share. In-kind donations or cash donations from outside sources have been dedicated if this grant is awarded, and the grant award is up to $25,000.
Any questions or
sense to me.
discussions? Right. Is there a motion then on resolution 1, 2026?
I move to approve resolution number 1-2026.
I'll second it.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, so vote. And it passes unanimously.
Thank you very much.
7B, Ms. Hagemeyer.
This is another grant proposal. The Cultural Arts District Advisory Board has the opportunity to apply for a Texas Commission of the Arts Response Grants. This will be the first grant application under the new Cultural District designation. The advisory board is applying for funding to support marketing efforts to highlight the cultural district, not to exceed $40,000. The matching funded needing will be provided by outside funding opportunities and not requested to be supported by the city general fund.
All right. Any comments or questions?
Well, I'll just add to that, that we have already talked to at least 2 and maybe 1 other resource for the matching fund, matching amount, and it all looks very favorable, so I think that right now the Texas Commission on the Arts is really looking to help our community reopen for business, and that means our museums, our art galleries, all the things that have to do with art, so that it does tie into these grants are for art support. Anyway, it'll bring tourism to our town as well, not just for the art, but.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? Delane, would you like to make a motion?
I would love to make a motion. I would like to recommend that we approve of the resolution number 02-2026, authorizing the Cultural Arts District to apply for the TSA, Texas Commission on the Arts, Art Respond Grant.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, so vote. And it passes unanimously. Thank you. 7C, Mr. Brimhall.
Everybody gets out of the way when I come up here. Good evening, Mayor and Council. This is another bit of good news. This group has seen the MOU between the NBA and the city of Kerrville with the foundation for the replacement of Guadalupe Park in its entirety. And so this is basically the last step that we need contractually to start moving on a lot of the elements that are going to go into the next phases of Guadalupe Park, and it's reimagining, revisioning, and rebuilding. So Crystal did steal my thunder a little bit, but it's kind of old news now. We did a survey online, and a lot of people responded. I think Councilmember Harris brought it up in the meeting. Hey, why don't you do basketball? And we heard that resoundingly online, and I had a couple really good people give me a call and talk to me. And we wanted to give the community what it wants. And so we decided, okay, we want to do this as empirically as we can. So we did a survey, and they want basketball. And we kind of got creative in the geometry, because that's a very limited footprint in Guadalupe, to kind of put a basketball court there. That was our biggest concern. We want to maximize the space that we have. And so the survey helped us figure out that that's what the community wants. So that's what the community is going to get. And it fits with the NBA being a partner.
Yeah.
And it'll be great. We're looking forward to it. So basically, this is the last step. All those totals that you see, it's $636,119 with a little remainder left over there to spruce up the other damage that was, in parts of the infrastructure that aren't the big ticket items, like the concrete and some of the shade structures, some of the benches. We want to add some more of those and refurbish what we can, but replace what we need to. And so the remainder from the $750,000 committed by the foundation and by the NBA, we're going to put it to good use, and that place is going to look amazing when it's done. If there are any questions, I'm here, but we're looking for approval of this contract this evening.
A rough timeline?
I'm going to continue to be ambitious and say by the end of the first quarter of this year.
Wow,
Wow.
amazing.
Don't hold me to that. I mean, I'm being ambitious, but
Been recorded.
I completely agree. But
Be in the minutes,
NBA wants to see it happen soon, and we want to help them see that happen soon because that means we get to have it open soon. We like opening things.
Awesome.
Oh,
All
We'll have
right.
y'all out there making sure you hit the first shots that are there. You gotta make
I
it
want to see
though.
you do it.
Oh,
You just kind of reach up there, you know.
well, maybe it was a little easier before, but yeah, I will be there too, of course.
Is there a motion then?
I will make a motion to authorize the city manager to finalize and execute the agreement with Merlix for the construction of Guadalupe Park under by board contract number 781-25.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, so vote. All right, first quarter. All right, we have an item that we need to discuss in executive session, and I'll need a motion to go into executive session, please.
I'll make the motion to go to executive session under code 551.074.
There's a second.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All in favor, so vote. And we'll go upstairs.
Or could be in effect.
We're green, all right. Are you ready?
ready?
Yes.
Staff ready? All right, we are back from executive session at 7:08. We have made some action, we need to take action on some items discussed in executive session, and I'm looking for a motion.
I would like to make the motion to appoint William Tosh, the interim city attorney, effective on Monday, the 2nd of February, 2026.
And I'll second that.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, so vote. And it passed unanimous. He's not even here. There he is. Congratulations to you.
Congratulations.
You are hereby appointed. All right, having no other business, oh, are there items for future agendas? Anybody?
Nope.
No, not today.
All right. Hearing none, we are adjourned at 7:09.
Oh, my goodness. What a
Way to
great
go.
start, 2026.